Hey, hello. It's been a little while, I realize, since I did a book haul, and I know some of you have been wanting one, so I thought I would do a little book haul with all of the books I have acquired this year so far, which are not few. They are quite a lot. And the only reason I don't feel bad about that is because I have been reading more this year than last year. So hopefully the idea is that I will read these books. That's always the idea, right? But I usually read all the books I buy, and last year was just a tough year for that. So I'm going to explain the setup to you, list a few books that will not be shown, and then get into it basically. So I don't know why, but I feel like telling you I'm on my iPhone tonight, and over here, stuck on the end of a pen, is my fuzzy lav mic, the one that looks like a little pom-pom, a little gray pom-pom. So that's right there. And I also have some tea I just made, so it's quite hot still. It's ginger tea tonight that I am drinking. I'm looking forward to that cooling down. Okay, so in addition to what I'm about to show you, I think I have 9 books to show you. I wanted to mention a few others. I have, I think, 3 still coming in, which are, I won't remember the writers maybe, but I just want to throw them out there so that this is like a semi-comprehensive list of the books I've, again, acquired so far this year. So I'm waiting for 3 to be delivered still, which are the Copenhagen trilogy. I'm going to read it with my friend, and The Left Hand of Darkness, which is the next sort of sci-fi book for my little book club with quite a random group of friends. So feel free to join in on that if you would like. And also A Ghost in the Throat by an Irish writer. Those I'm waiting to come in. Also recently, in one of those little libraries, you see while you're walking, like the little boxes with a little door, and you can like take a book, leave a book kind of situation. Well, from that I I'm acquiring assets. I acquired Dead Astronauts by James Van Der Meer and the exhibition of Persephone Q by Jesse something Stevens. Weirdly enough, I was considering buying one of those books the very morning that I found it, the morning of the afternoon that I found it in the tiny library. So I thought that was quite odd. So I snagged those 2. And then I also recently purchased some used books. So used books I bought, the first is Nobody Is Ever Missing by Catherine Lacey. And that one's an old library book with like some stickers on it and stuff. Totally fine, but I just thought I have plenty to show you, so I won't include that one. I also got Missoula by John Krakauer and Fates and Furies by Lauren Groff. So that's that. Ones that are still coming, ones that I got from a tiny library, ones that I bought used. And then the rest of these, one was a gift, one was bought used, and the rest I bought full price, guys. Okay, and I think what I'll do for this video is I'll show you the book, of course, the title, who it's by, maybe describe the cover a little bit, and I think I'll just tell you what I know of it, and that may or may not be correct, but I figure, it's easy to find the synopsis as it is written on the back of the books, and when it's dimly lit, it's hard for me to read the books to you. So I'll just say what I know of it, or how I came upon it, and if you would like to check it out further, then you may do so. Okay. So, the first one you may have already seen. I'm in the middle of reading it. Where's my bookmark? My bookmark's hiding, but it's there. So, this is Milkman. By Anna Burns. A novel. It won the 2018 Man Booker Prize, which is in part why I picked it up, and I had heard good things from a few friends. So this cover is just of a sunset, which actually does have something to do with the book. And essentially, this is what I'm actually in the middle of reading, so if I get this wrong, I'll just sound silly. But it is about a young woman during the Troubles who is seen with this man who has a white van. He's not actually a milkman, but he has a white van, and so he's called the milkman. And she's seen in association with him, and she starts to be associated with him in the town. There are like secretive photos taken of them together, and then through her association with him, which she did not want, the people she's around become associated to her, and so on. It's just a very beautifully, stylistically written story about existing during the Troubles, I think, and many other things, but I'm only halfway through it yet, and I also don't want to spoil it for you. But I do think it's really well written. It's very compelling, although it is not, the prose is beautiful, it's sharp, it's well done, but it sits a little heavy, like it's a little dense, so it's not a page turner per se. I find myself reading it pretty slowly, but I really, really like it. So that's the first one. The second one, the rest of these I haven't even started. So the second one is, this one just came out. It is a crooked tree. A crooked tree. Crooked. I like milkman and crooked as words. You can see the cover is gorgeous. It is a kind of misty scene of a road and some car headlights coming. So all I know about this book is that it's about a family. This part's matte and this part's shiny. Glossy and matte. It's about a family in the aftermath of a car crash, I believe. And it's set in the 80s. It's hyped, and I always tell myself I will not buy hyped books in a hardcover, but I figured I bought it from my local bookstore, and if I don't like it, I can just return it. Like if I read the first 50 pages and I'm not into it, I can return it. But the story sounds really good. It's got that nostalgia factor to it, being set in the 80s. People have likened it to Stranger Things in that respect, but it's about a family after a car crash, as far as I'm aware. And it's by Una Yeah. So, the next one. Then, starting a second pile here. Okay, then we have a fun one. They're all fun, but this one's called Bunny. I think it came out last year or the year before that. I mean, I have it in paperback, so it's not new, but it's pretty new. It's called Bunny, written in this kind of like crayon pencil font by Mona Awad. A novel by. It has this black bunny on the cover. Bunny. Just giving the bunny a little scratch, you know. And as far as I'm aware, this is about, I think, an MFA student, maybe a fiction writer, I'm not sure, who's a little bit of a loner, but kind of gets involved with this clique of cool girls. And that aspect of it, that social dynamic, is said to be very similar to the movie Heathers. Heathers is one of my favorite movies from the late 80s, I think, with Winona Ryder. And it just sounded really good, like kind of dark, kind of funny, and entertaining, but still well written is what I've heard. Okay, so that's the next one. And then this one was a gift. You probably know this one or have seen it. It's called Just Kids. It's such a good sound. Just Kids. By Patty Smith. And here they are, Patty and Robert. So this is about growing up as artists, I believe in New York City. And it's a kind of, it's a memoir by Patti Smith about her and Robert Mapplethorpe. And maybe some other people, I don't know, I haven't read it. It won the National Book Award. And it is also a New York Times bestseller. So, from people who have read it, they are constantly telling me it's great, it's great, it's great. So, I'm very happy that I got this as a gift. The perfect gift, right, is something you wouldn't buy yourself, but you're happy to have. And this is that. I probably wouldn't have bought this book for myself, but I'm happy to have it. I'm excited to read it. And as the gift giver told me, I am very, 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 very hard to buy books for. Who would have guessed? So, next up we have this one I got from a Goodwill used, but I'm very excited about it. It came out last year, I think. It's called Alice Not. Alice. It's dripping. Not. A novel. In case you're confused, it's a novel. Drip by Blake Butler. So, very happy to have this in hardcover. I hope it's good. I have every reason to believe it will be. The cover is gorgeous. So, as far as I know, this one is about, I think, an old woman who's perhaps a widow, who knows, and she has collected a lot of art in her lifetime or inherited it, I'm not sure, but there's some kind of kerfuffle around that, I believe, and it seems like nothing is as it seems. Like a lot of things are like shifting and moving, places are, and I've heard it described, like the reality of the book, the world in which it's set, described as a kind of Lynchian space. So I'm excited about that one too. Okay, so now we have this one. I took the cover off of it because it says what bookstore I got it from. It's purple. It has a very beautiful cover, actually, dust jacket that has really gorgeous kind of iridescent butterflies on it. And it's called The Butterfly Lampshade by Amy Bender. So this one was recommended to me by a friend who has very good taste in books, and by good taste I mean we have similar taste. She described it to me as literally a book where a woman just sits around staring at a lampshade and thinking, but good, she said. A woman just sits around staring at a lampshade and thinking, but it's really good, she said. So I trust her. I mean, that doesn't scare me off. I think it's probably very good. I'll let you know. And the actual cover is this really gorgeous royal purple color. Okay, we have, I think, two more. So then we have this one, where the wild ladies are, by Ayoko Matsuda. If I'm not mistaken, this book is a series of stories. It's in translation. Oh, I can't read this in the dark. I like to mention the translator. Translated by Polly Barton. So there's this little creature here too. This is translated from Japanese, and I believe there are stories, pretty feminist retellings of some Japanese kind of, they're not retellings of the Japanese folklore, cut and dry, but they borrow elements from Japanese folklore, kind of remix it with a feminist bent, and like a lot of spirits and whimsy and humor and like prank kind of behavior is my understanding. Often when I go to my local bookstore, the first thing I do, besides looking at staff picks, is I check out the translated fiction, because you can find really good and interesting stuff there, really fresh stuff that doesn't feel to our minds, right, like derivative in any sense. So I'm very excited to give this one a try. I think it's going to be really good. Alright. Oh, we have two more. So, you might have heard of this one or seen it. It's called West by Karis, I think. Karis, please let me know. This is how you say your name. Karis Davies. Gorgeous cover. This is like, oh, there's like these little people down here. So, this one is called a novel, but it seems novella length. It's quite short. And again, to my understanding, it's about a man who travels west. Something about his daughter, perhaps. But I've heard that it's really beautifully written, really sparely written, and I really like novellas. So, even though it's billed as a novel, I was like, I want to see what she can do in this many pages. Apparently, what she can do in this many pages is amazing, and I would like to be part of that. So, I picked it up. Okay, and then finally, we have another book. My history is all wrong, but okay, well, I'll just show you first. So, it's called, gorgeous cover again, right? I love this plant with all these leaves. It's called The Wild Laughter by, I think, Caroline Hughes, as far as I can guess. But I believe she's Irish, and I know there are a lot of Irish names that if I hadn't learned how to pronounce them, I wouldn't necessarily be able to guess. So, this book is about two brothers who are farmers in the year of the Celtic Tiger. I think they have some kind of falling out or are at odds for whatever reason. I think the year of the Celtic Tiger in Ireland was like a year when the economy was booming in the 90s, I want to say. So maybe at the end of the Troubles or just after the Troubles. I'm not sure. But again, I hear it's really beautifully written. The edition is gorgeous. This is kind of a like, you know, it's not like hand-pressed paper, of course not, but it's like this, it's not quite matte, but it just feels really organic. And yeah, I just heard good things about it, so I picked it up. And I thought, too, that it would be a nice way to round out Milkman, A Ghost in the Throat, which I mentioned up top. I don't know when that was written by, but it's an Irish author. And then this, too, she's an Irish author. And this ties more closely to Milkman in terms of time period, I believe. But I just thought that those three might be, might make interesting connections between them, like be in conversation together is what I'm trying to say. So, that is my enormous book haul. There's so many, and there are more, as I said, that you didn't see, so that's just ridiculous. But hopefully I will read them this year as I intend. So far, so good. I've been reading a lot more lately. So, fingers crossed. Thank you so much for spending time with me. So nice to see you. My foot is falling, so dead asleep. I hope you sleep as well as my foot is sleeping currently, because you deserve it, as always. And I will see you very, very